Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Ahoy! Let's go! We're waking up Chicago. Turn up the radio. It's time to start the show. On Q101 with the morning crew. Ahoy! Let's go! Welcome to the morning show.
Let's go. It is 6:02, 60 degrees, going to be about 90 today and sunny. And I want to congratulate Kenzie for making it all the way in from Elgin today.
Ooh, traffic's a little lighter. Usually on Wednesday it's a bitch, but right now it's light.
It's pretty early. So
Yesterday was bitchy
Yeah.
for some reason.
it's going
Unusual to Tuesday.
It's going to get worse.
Well, yes, of course.
But I know you do this every day.
That's my motto for the day.
Yeah, I mean, coming in from Elgin, all the way in. Like, as someone like me who does not have too many journeys like that on a weekly basis, but driving to Naperville last week when I drove out that way, holy cow. I
know. It was so funny because after that, you came in and you go, I respect you so much for coming in from Elgin every day. Because I went there and it was impossible. I was falling asleep. I'm like, oh, yeah.
I don't know how, and you and the listeners out there, people listening right now that have those kind of commutes, I don't know how you do it. I really don't. I feel so much sympathy and empathy for you that do those.
Help me.
Yeah, exactly. Because I have about a 10-minute commute. And although today was weird, because I told Case that I had to call 911 again this morning on the way in, the weirdest things happen at 4 in the morning driving into Chicago.
You called the police?
Because there was a guy on Lakeshore Drive running back and forth on Lakeshore Drive, running toward cars, including my car.
Now, when you say back and forth, do you mean along the shoreline on a nice jog?
No. He's on the road. He's on Lakeshore Drive.
So more like a game of like Frogger.
Exactly like Frogger.
Oh.
Exactly. And as I turned, I saw him way ahead, and I go, wait, was that a person? Hit my flashers and slowed down, and then he turned to the lane I turned in. I started to pull over to the side, and he ran toward me. I got near him. I started yelling at him. He was laughing. So he was on drugs or had a mental breakdown of some sort. I don't know. I called 911.
Love the show.
Yeah.
And you were just being mean about it. You called the cops on it.
I
really want to go see The Offspring.
Yeah.
Listen, I gave him a sticker, okay?
You did your part.
I'm
You're
actually
really helping the world.
I'm actually really concerned that I didn't know what else to do, and I called 911.
What'd they even say?
They said, we'll send someone over. We'll send some cops over to block out to help and try to figure out what's going on. I go, I'm not leaving the scene until I see this guy off the road, and then he disappeared in my rearview mirror because I was just past him. I don't know what happened. I hope he's okay.
So you lied.
I didn't lie.
You said you're not leaving. You left.
Oh, well, I couldn't see him anymore. I didn't know what else to do, and the cops hopefully got there quick. And,
boy.
and that was my morning coming in for my 10-minute commute, but I had to worry about a guy running at my car. And I feel, wow.
Did it feel, you love that one show, was it The Walking Dead? Did it kind of feel like spooky because you're like trying to outrun something?
Honestly, that's not a bad reference point. I do love The Walking Dead, and was coming over like one of those small little hills on Lakeshore.
That would be scary. That would feel like that
Yeah.
moment.
Like, why is this guy on the road running toward my car?
Yeah, that would be like the exact scene in a movie where you find out zombies exist.
Yeah.
Like, excuse me, sir, do you need...
Yeah. Rawr. Yeah, that's how it's going to be. I hope he's okay.
I do too.
Yeah.
That's scary.
And Frogger is exactly the reference of what you would say this guy was doing.
Not good.
Nope.
I don't like that.
Nope. But thank you for coming in from Elgin today, Kenzie.
You're welcome. Also, if there was a cop who responded to that, please call us and let us know if he's okay.
I really do want an answer. It's hard.
Yeah.
I've called 911 probably 15 times in the last 2 years coming on Lakeshore Drive for things that have been going on. Wrong way cars. I almost got hit 3 times. People driving the wrong side of Lakeshore Drive.
Oh, my gosh. The wrong side.
The wrong side. Like, I'm going south, they're going north. On our side. My side.
We live in a lawless city.
It's a Wild West out there in the middle of the night. And here we are. We're all made it, and we're here today, and let's go.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Time for a fact that makes your brain go. Campbell's Soup is dropping their name Soup from the company after 100 years. So they're dropping the name Soup. Why do you think Campbell's Soup is dropping Soup off their name? It's just going to be the Campbell's Corporation.
I think it is because they want to expand into stew and other items and broth.
Okay, that's Kenzie's take. Case, what do you got?
I think they want to expand into hard seltzer. And I think we're going to have chicken noodle soup seltzer here real soon.
That's fun.
These are both great ideas.
I know.
And I can't tell you if you're right. I will give you the exact answer here in 6 minutes.
Should we go work for Campbell's? I feel like in the innovation factory, we could really do some damage.
Well, if they come out with either of these products, now I'm going to sue them. Because like I said it first. Is that it? They stole my idea.
Now, I will tell you that I obviously know the answer I'm going to give you in 6 minutes, and it will blow your mind. I'm not saying you guys are wrong, but it will blow your mind. I don't think you can guess properly why Campbell's Soup is getting rid of the name Soup off of their name after 100 years. You can chime in at 312-591-8300 if you want to take a guess, and we'll have that for you in 6 minutes.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Well, time for a fact that makes your brain go. And Campbell's Soup is dropping soup from their name, so they're going to be the Campbell's Company. Kenzie predicted that it's possible because they want to get in the stew. So it'll be all
They don't
Campbell's.
want to be kept in this box anymore.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, and then Case thinks it's because they're going to get into what, a seltzers?
Yeah, I think they're going to start doing a hard seltzer.
Can you imagine a chicken noodle flavored seltzer?
I could see a lot of people liking that.
What about clam chowder?
Ooh.
This time of the year, you curl up on the couch with a blankie and a football game and a Campbell's chicken noodle seltzer?
Period.
Okay, sign me up.
Well, we've given them a lot of great ideas today. Hopefully someone from Campbell's is listening because it's not those. The fact is that they own the Goldfish Crackers brand, okay? And by 2027, their research and analytics show that's going to be the #1 snack in the world, goldfish. And they don't want any association with garbage soup by 2027. So they're getting rid of the name now, about 3 years early, because goldfish is going to take over the world in 3 years.
Wow.
Do you like goldfish?
I do. I'm more of a flavor blast girl myself.
What's
That's
that?
when they have extra powder on them. I think that the original are just a little dry for my taste.
But is that still Goldfish brand you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh,
Goldfish,
yeah.
Goldfish flavor blast is when I like putting a goldfish in my house and in my mouth.
She's getting so excited she can't say it. I'm like putting
and having a little bit of residue on my fingers, like a little powder.
Yeah, because I've had the pretzel goldfish. I love those. Those are addictive. Flavor blast. I don't know why I haven't gotten those.
It's just extra. It's
Yeah.
like, pour
Which
a
is-
little on there.
But it's still Goldfish the brand. So
oh, absolutely. Goldfish is great.
you're still all in on it.
Oh, yeah. I like goldfish.
I have poured them into soup, and you can't see the soup anymore.
Oh, I don't.
Because you put some. I put the whole
It
box.
becomes a solid.
I cannot put any type of cracker in a soup.
What is it with you and Megan, my wife? The same thing. She thinks it's disgusting I put crackers in soup.
I don't like when things get soggy. I also, and I understand how strange this is, and it's why I can't really eat it. When I'm eating cereal, I can only pour one bite at a time into the bowl and then eat that bite, because if it gets soggy at all, I can't eat it. So I have to sit there with the box next to me and eat my cereal. Like pour, eat, pour.
So you have a
eat.
bowl of milk.
Yes.
And you pour in.
One bite at a time.
What? That's better than what I said as a fact.
I can't do soggy, so I absolutely cannot put a cracker in a soup. Absolutely under no circumstances. And get soggy, squishy bread in each bite.
What about taking a cracker and like a bigger cracker and dunking it in the soup? Like a saltine.
I'm not a dunker. Also, like cookie-wise, I could never dunk a cookie. I could take a bite of a cookie, then take a sip of milk. I cannot dunk it. I cannot create a soggy substance and then put that in my mouth.
But is the cookie in your mouth when the milk goes in?
It washes it down really fast. Not like big chunks of it, absolutely not.
Because it is a cool feeling to have the cookie in your mouth. You drink milk and then dissolves in your mouth while all of it is together before you swallow.
Right. But I can't have massive chunks. It has to be more of like a wash down. I don't like when it gets soggy.
Clearly.
It really bothers me.
I was trying to find some angle there. See, I like dumping. I'll take that whole thing of goldfish. And then it's becoming basically like, that story in Jaws when he talks about the 1,000 sharks in the water.
Yeah.
It's 1,000 goldfish in my soup. And I love the chunkiness. And I love it when it gets a little soggy. I love that.
I like sogginess as a texture. I like a nice soggy thing.
I'm going to pass out. I don't like sog.
That cereal thing, Kenzie, I mean, and I say this with love because I love you to death. You have some quirks. The
Yes.
cereal thing is the weirdest thing about you.
I
That's
don't even know
bizarre.
if that's true. I have to be honest. I have some weirder ones.
I don't believe you.
Would you like to share with the class?
I think my weirdest quirk is that it really bothers me if there's more liquid in my cup than ice. So I have to get my ice all the way to the top.
Wait, who wants more ice than liquid?
I can't handle it. If my ice floats, I'm out of there.
Okay, the cereal
can't do
thing.
it.
The cereal thing is way worse.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
I have to fill my ice all the way to the top.
Yeah.
And then pour. And as the ice melts, so say I have like a can of Coke or something.
Right.
As my ice melts, I can only put less Coke in it because the ice still needs to be taller. So it's like say the ice has melted to half the glass. I can't fill that glass up with Coke.
So when you're at a drive-through, like Wendy's drive-through, and you get your Coke, and you go extra ice.
I go extra ice.
And then you pull up, and it's just like, halfway because they think that's extra ice.
Sometimes I ask for a cup of my drink and then a cup full of ice, and I have to pour it.
Wow.
Because it really upsets me. When I look at a cup and there's like 3 ice cubes, I just want to throw it out the window. And I'm so angry.
Well, that's not even light ice. I like light ice.
No.
So
I
give me-
like no ice.
Blech.
Like, I bought a 12-pack of Coke yesterday, and then the Coke-flavored Oreos, which we'll talk about at some point. But the 12-pack of Coke isn't going in the fridge. It's sitting on the counter. I don't want cold drinks.
I can't do lukewarm drinks. My ideal temperature is when you pour like a soda and it gets frosty on the ice because it's so cold. You almost it turns into a slushy. That's my ideal temperature of beverage.
See, I need the Coke to have enough power to burn the back of my throat. So if you have too much ice, you don't get that. You need that.
That's not true.
You don't get that hit.
Because actually, I would argue the opposite. When there's that much ice, it doesn't melt as quickly because it stays cold. It stays more powerful. When you pour a warm soda over a few ice cubes, that's when they melt.
Correct, but what I'm saying is that you try to chug that good gulp of Coke to hit the back of your throat, you have to hold your teeth closed to get the ice to not go down and choke to death.
Oh, I've knocked myself out with ice. When all that comes forward in your huge glass and I've chipped a tooth. It's like an iceberg lands on my face.
Is this one of the top 10 iconic conversations of the show this year, maybe?
I don't know. I'm so upset because I hate ice so much, and Kenzie's ice habits are just disturbing me.
I use so much ice.
But let's remember what started it is this cereal where you have a bowl of milk and you pour 5 Cheerios in there and eat them so they stay
Yes.
crunchy instead of a whole bowl
That's
of Cheerios.
the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
I can't do it.
I understand.
If it gets really soggy.
So what do you do when you're at like a hotel and they have a continental breakfast and let's say they're out of waffle mix, so you got to get the cereal.
Muffin.
You just go straight muffin.
Absolutely. Under no sir. I will not have it. Or sometimes I take a dry box of cereal.
Yeah,
I
that's
can do
better. That's better than some milk is no milk.
Yes.
Well, listen, the fact today now seems very small that Campbell's Soup is getting ready to name soup because they own Goldfish, and their research shows Goldfish will be their largest brand by 2027, and they don't want to be associated with garbage soup in 3 years.
I like
That's
their
the fact.
soup. They
I
have
love
soup.
Campbell's Soup.
I don't like soup.
Oh, we don't have time for that discussion.
It's just
I love soup.
it's too hot.
No, it's not. I like it. Here's my thing. It has to burn me or freeze me. I'm like, this is not. I want that ish on fire when it gets to my table,
Yeah.
and I want extra ice.
Or extra fire on the soup.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101, 640, and it's 60 degrees outside. And, we can't move forward with the show really at this point at 640 without obviously acknowledging what today is, September 11th, and what happened 23 years ago today.
On September 11th, 2001,
Planes crashed into Alpha 4 of the World Trade Center.
Our very freedom came under attack.
We're trying to recoup. We lost all units here at this area.
Today, we pause to remember a day that tested our country.
Tower 2 has had a major explosion and what appears to be a complete collapse.
there's no possible way to begin to describe it.
Nearly 3,000 lives were lost in the deadliest attack on American soil in our history.
This is a moment to pause and reflect, to heal, and to rededicate ourselves to the American spirit.
May God bless the victims, their families, and America.
Of one nation indivisible.
That was 23 years ago today, and about an hour away, because it was 7:46 Chicago time when the first plane hit. And September 11th is becoming very weird to someone like me at this point with strong memories because my brother worked not far from the towers. And on that day, if you remember the chaos, when you look at it, like, New York and D.C., Chicago was the third most chaotic city of what was going on because of the rumored planes coming to the Hancock Building and the Sears Tower. And I remember them clearing downtown, and it was like The Walking Dead within an hour, clearing out downtown. But an interesting poll came through of interviewing people today, now 23 years later, of several thousand people in America saying, do you remember where you were on 9/11? And when you look at it, so 78% of the people said yes. Now you think, why wouldn't it be higher than that? Well, that includes people 18 to 29-year-olds.
Okay, yeah.
So they were either not born. Case was 2 years old.
That's right.
I think Kenzie was 6 years old. And so if you're under 7, you really don't remember it for the most part. So only 30% of them say they remember it, people in that range, 18 to 29. So if you're on the older end of that, which we'll get to Kenzie in a second, how she remembers it. But then that number is 83% for millennials, 94% for Gen Xers like myself, and 97% for boomers, which obviously makes sense. The older they are, the more you remember on it and you think about it more. But each year that goes by, you remember it obviously because it was so horrific and tragic. And I watched all the documentaries and my stomach hurts still today when I watch them. But it is becoming more, in a weird way, of a historical event than something that, for people, again, like Case, who was 2 years old, doesn't have a memory of it at all.
Right,
He knows about it just from documentaries and the internet.
Yeah, everything in hindsight.
Yeah, totally hindsight. And Kenzie, so you were 6.
Yes, I was in kindergarten. I'm probably like right. Anybody not in kindergarten probably doesn't remember, right? So I'm probably just like the first one to kick it off. If that makes sense. I was in kindergarten. They ended class early, and I went home. And I'm the youngest of the kids in the family. So, like, all my siblings and stuff. And I got home. Their classes all ended early, too. Like, my brother was actually in high school and stuff at that time. And everyone was home, which I thought was super weird in the middle of the day. And they were sitting in the family room with that on the TV. I remember seeing the buildings and just the news clips of them, beforehand, all this. And everyone was just crying. And as a young kid, no one can really explain it to you. You're not going to understand the concept. So I just was home. I didn't get why. I didn't get why everyone was home. Everyone was bawling their eyes out. And I remember, like, as a kid, sometimes you just kind of, like, go inward a little bit, and it was very scary to me because I didn't get it.
Yeah, you don't know why everybody's crying.
I just know that whatever was happening was really, really bad. And it was really scary, right? Like, we shouldn't all be home. Everyone's crying. Obviously, whatever's on the TV is really bad. Like, I didn't fully get it.
Yeah, and they can't say, like, well, Kenzie, this is what's happening.
Yeah,
at 6 years old.
This is a breakdown. And to be honest, especially early, we didn't know. Like, nobody on 9/11 could be like, this is exactly what's happening in the middle of the day, and the extent of it, it was terrifying. You didn't even feel comfortable explaining it either.
Well, like I said, I can tell you because I was actually out of Chicago at the time visiting my parents in Ohio, and so the first plane hits, and everybody remembers that it was confusing, and that's a really bad accident. That's kind of how people looked at it. And I went somewhere with my dad, and then we're driving, and then we hear on the radio that the second tower was hit, and my dad flipped around on the highway and started driving 90 miles an hour, and a cop pulled us over, and my dad pulls over, and the cop goes like, all right, give me license registration. And my dad just goes, I have a son in New York. And the cop goes, go, take off, go, whatever you got to do. Just let us go.
Aww.
I mean, it was incredible. We couldn't get a hold of my brother who works in that area because, again, if you're not old enough to remember, cell phones didn't always work in certain areas. And the towers had cell towers on them. So when they got hit, a lot of them deactivated. And so there was no way to get a hold of him. Now, we ended up finding out like an hour later that he didn't make it even on the island. He drove into New York City to go to work. So he didn't make it in, but he lost friends. He lost a couple friends in the whole mess and the tragedy. So that's why that still hits me like that. That's my memory of being here at Q101 when coming back on the air and not being able to be funny for months, like not being able to joke about anything for months. We just played music and talked, and it was wild. It was an incredible. Obviously, everybody listening right now has the same experience, no matter how old you are. Like I said, if you're close to Kenzie's age, might be just the cutoff of remembering something about it. So, we remember today, and obviously, take some time. And I recommend watching some documentaries. There's a new one on Netflix, I believe, that comes out because, of course, why not? And also, you know what I remember? Another memory of it is shortly after that, there was a documentary called Loose Change that came out, and just when YouTube had started. And it was a young kid who then gave all the evidence on why 9/11 was an inside job.
Oh.
It was crazy. And it was so believable. And it was one of the first documentaries like that on YouTube that I remember watching and going, not being able to stop it and watching it again. You know what I mean?
Well, I watched on the big anniversary just a few years ago, Turning Point
That
came
was
out
the
on
really
Netflix.
good one. Yeah, that's really good.
That is a phenomenal watch. That encompasses so many things. I started to understand a lot more about 9/11 and even the aftermath of it, everything that occurred. The video footage was shocking. Now, it's a tough watch. It's a docuseries. But I'm so happy I watched it. So I can personally, I don't know about the new one. I don't know what just came out on Netflix. I can personally recommend Turning Point as a phenomenal watch.
And so that came out a few years ago, you said?
Yes.
Yes.
For the 20th anniversary.
For the 20th. That's what I was
Got it.
thinking about.
And of course, remember today a little bit of what happened or talk to somebody that does remember if you can.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.